after the election, and he feels a lot more free. He knows that Americans will be worried if he does anything overtly to help the British, but at the very least he can't lose the election.
There will be no bottlenecks in our determination to aid Great Britain. We must be the great arsenal of democracy. For us, this is an emergency as serious as war itself.
Roosevelt now came up with what was called the Lend Lease program, another way of getting more military aid to Britain in a way that looked like a good deal for the United States. And he makes the point to Americans, don't worry, this is not being done to take you into a war. It's to try to brace the British so that they can stand up to Hitler rather than Americans.
Roosevelt lays out his program to Congress in his 1941 State of the Union address. It will be called the Lend Lease Act.
They do not need manpower, but they do need billions of dollars worth of the weapons of defense. We cannot and we will not tell them that they must surrender merely because of present inability to pay for the weapons which we know they must have.
It was a complicated program by which ships, guns, food, oil, all sorts of things went from the United States to Britain, basically on account, on credit. Winston Churchill was given a very large Visa card.
The opponents of this legislation intend to keep up the fight, to keep American boys out of the Holocaust of Europe's wars.
Roosevelt decides to send an envoy to Winston Churchill to assure Churchill of American help, and he sends, of all people, Wendell Willkie.
Willkie carries with him a handwritten note from Roosevelt to Churchill. It reads in part, "Wendell Willkie will give you this. He's truly helping to keep politics out over here." Roosevelt's political gambit is a success. When Willkie returns in early February, the former isolationist addresses Congress on behalf of Roosevelt's Lend Lease Act.
Now I'm as much opposed as any man in America to undue concentration of power in the chief executive. And may I say that I did my best to remove that power from the present executive. I would much prefer to have the impetus to come from Congress if this bill could be adopted with a nonpartisan and almost a unanimous vote.
On March 8th, after bitter debate, Congress approves the plan. Churchill will get his arsenal.